going to talk a little bit about some functionality differences. And I promise we're not going to just talk about software. We're also going to talk about some good things with Excel, but to allow you guys to make the most informed decision for your organization. And so Excel is great. There's a lot of really great things about it, but like we just talked about with our last polling question, there are some limitations and challenges that come with using Excel in comparison to functionality provided with any lease accounting software worth its salt. So one of the things you guys mentioned that you thought was going to be difficult in the last polling question was the calculations and the formulas. And I have to say I agree with you. There are so many places where errors can be made, right? Like so many places where you can fat finger a formula or accidentally delete something. So one of the bigger benefits of using a software is that it does all that for you. Basically, you just put your inputs in, data in, import them in, calculates everything for you. Certainly something that Excel isn't able to provide. One of the other things you guys mentioned being potentially difficult for you was the reporting and disclosures. So yeah, that is certainly a challenge. With the legacy standard for you all under ASB would have been 840. You likely just had to disclose for your operating leases, like your 5-year future minimum lease payments, just footnote, like your undiscounted cash flows. So that was basically it. With this new lease accounting standard, there are quite a lot of disclosures for not only for ASU 42, but for the others as well, for IFRS 16 and for GASB 87, lots of new disclosure requirements. So if you are doing this from scratch, let's kind of bring it back to Excel. While you have the flexibility to create those yourself, you're going to have to create those yourself. There might be like a template out there somewhere, but who knows if it's right. You have to make those templates yourself and pull in the correct data from the amortization schedules, which you have to assume are correct, perform reconciliation with your account balances and your GL and your journal entries. So Excel just doesn't do that for you, like a software will. And you, of course, along with that, maybe you have, pivot tables used in Excel, which is great, but within a software, it'll allow you to create report templates as well with flexibility for your reconciliation process and also just for general types of reporting. So coming up with your own calculations from scratch, but like we mentioned with that whole process, there's lots of places that you have room for error. It also relies on you understanding the guidance very well. And I don't know if you guys have taken a look at the guidance. It's my job to know it, but if it wasn't my job to know it, I probably wouldn't have read it because it is so long, so tedious, lots of different stipulations here and there. So it relies on you knowing the guidance very well to be able to interpret it appropriately and get it down on paper or Excel in our case. Something that I think 29% of you guys said was going to be difficult with those calculations. I would agree. So using a software, you have the security knowing that it was designed with this intention, CPA approved. Things like SOC reports, any software you look at LeaseQuery should be able to provide you a SOC report or an AUP report. Using an Excel, you got to pull those together yourself. So you don't have somebody monitoring guidance changes. If something changes, you have to keep up with that. So a lot of work on one person's plate. And then the data integrity answer, I know I'm guilty of this. You can have version 1 final, version 1 final, and you've got 4 different versions of the same Excel, and you're searching through your Gmail, trying to find an attachment on a forwarded email from 2 weeks ago, and Outlook won't let you find it. So it's tough having Excel when you're trying to share it with others and collaborate if you're not the only one working on it, because there's different versions and you don't have any version control, you don't have any data integrity. It also, like we talked about with the disgruntled employee, can be easily changed, and you don't know when things are going to be changed, so it's hard to have controls over that. So a software will allow multiple people to have access to the same set of data without concern that they're looking at something old or that they don't have the most up-to-date information because it's on the cloud. And you obviously have the data security that comes with that as well. Any software should have security layers of protection IT documentation to protect your lease documents and all of your data.